With regards to funerals, President Ramaphosa says the maximum number of people allowed to attend a funeral will increase from 100 to 200. Funerals have been given a 2-hour limit on funeral services, with no night vigils or post-funeral gatherings permitted. For a reaction on this, we're joined via Zoom by Muzi Hlengwa from the National Funeral Practitioners Association of South Africa. Very good morning and thanks for making the time to speak to us.
Good morning to you and viewers at home.
Your industry's reaction to President Ramaphosa's announcement?
We welcome the easing of the regulations and particularly the fact that the amount of mourners has increased from where we used to be from 50 to 200. I mean, it's a good thing for us as the industry. Because we're having hard time to tell people to turn back and do not attend the funeral. But what I'm worried about is the fact that the president has alluded to the fact that with other events, people can attend to a 50% of the capacity. I'm not too sure if our people are going to be able to understand when it comes to that with funerals we have to have 200 and the other events you can stretch it to the maximum of 50% of the capacity of the venue.
Yeah, I suppose that's a bit questionable there, but has the COVID-19 pandemic altered what it means to mourn? What has been your experience in the industry?
I'm happy, man, to say that the death rate have went down drastically, and people were observing all the regulations. Look, when we do what we are all supposed to be doing, we are all safe and nobody is dying. And this is what we want as an industry. We are happy to say we are back to our normal ways of doing things, and people are still going to have to adhere to the regulations as per the president has alluded.
Of course, many sectors have been discussing whether government should end the national state of disaster. What is your position?
In fact, we held the very same sentiment as the industry. Look, most of the people normally will think that during COVID we were making a killing in terms of money, but we lost quite a lot of money as the industry. And as you know, this is the only industry that never had received any form of funding from government. We've seen all other industries receiving monies from the government, but the funeral industry was left alone as a, should I say, as a stepchild. You know, we were never been taken care of. We are still hoping and praying that somewhere, somehow, the president will find it to his or the country's interest to rescue a number of funeral undertakers businesses that went under during COVID-19.
Indeed, that perception exists that funeral undertakers made a lot of money as a result of COVID-19. Tell us what you mean when you say it's the reverse, you lost money.
Yes, definitely we lost a lot of money because, look, the industry is revolving. We have changed from being just service providers. We are selling, should I say, policies whereby people are paying us in advance. When the death occurs, then they come and launch a claim. Some of the laws that governs this industry give our clients a space of 3 months before their policies should lapse. So a majority of people were not paying us, and we having to honor claims that people were not paying as long as it's still under 3 months. So we were not getting any monies, but we were spending more because there were too many claims, and the insurance companies at times were not paying, and they could get away with it, but as undertakers we cannot get away with not honoring claims.
How has the response to COVID-19 changed how this industry operates going forward?
No, in fact, it has changed quite a lot. You know, the issues of people and adhering to the time when the funeral is supposed to start at 9. Under normal circumstances, we'll have the delays and the funeral will start at 10. But during COVID had taught us to keep time, because if it's 9 and the hall will close at 10, you have to be there at 9. Because if you are not there at 9, it doesn't matter, they will just close anyway. So our people now are starting to keep time when it comes to their funeral services. Also, people have learned that they don't really need to spend too much on funerals. They accept whatever they can afford, of which it's something that as undertakers we have been preaching, that if you see your neighbor driving a Ferrari, you cannot just want to drive a Ferrari yourself. If you afford a small vehicle, just stick to that. But as undertakers, when you come to us and say you want this funeral, if it costs you $1 million, we'll charge you $1 million, because we are in business at the end of the day. All we are saying to people, we are here to service them. We are here to make sure that we become a part of their healing process. We are not here to hurt in their sufferings. So spend what you can afford, and we will offer you exactly what you can afford.
It's an important conversation you bring up that we hope to have with you another day. But just in terms of the president's address last night, he was saying that he reached out to several stakeholders in coming to the decisions and the conclusions that he made. How is your industry involved in the consultation process?
Never. Not a single day we have been involved. This is why during COVID-19 you've seen us having to go to a national strike, complaining about so many things that were not being done correctly. Look, at the end of the day, we as an industry had so many cases whereby bodies would mix and we lose bodies, wrong family. I remember in Pietermaritzburg, an African family ended up with an Indian body, and an Indian family ended up cremating the African body that was supposed to be buried. This was due to the fact that people were denied their right to view the body. So this is the reason why we had to go out and strike, you know, just to make sure that we protect ourselves, not only ourselves, but those who are customers to us, which means the general members of the public who do not have powers to speak on their behalf.
Well, Mr. Hlengwa, thank you so much for making the time to speak to us, and that's a response there, Muzi Hlengwa from the National Funeral Practitioners Association of South Africa.